It was a crisp September morning in the heart of rural Indiana, the kind of day when the air smells like hay and hard work, and the sun barely cracks the horizon before the farm wakes up. Our family's 100-acre spread was in full harvest chaos. Corn needed hauling. The tractor was coughing like an old smoker, and Mom was wrestling with a pile of laundry that reeked of diesel and barn dust. I was 52, still mucking stalls and hauling feed like I was half my age, when trouble rolled up in a shiny white Cadillac SUV. It parked right in front of our only gate, bold as brass, blocking our delivery trucks during the busiest week of the year. That's when Grandpa Frank, 74 years young in his faded overalls and a beat-up Cubs cap, decided he'd had enough of city folks and their nonsense. The woman behind the wheel, let's call her Linda, strutted out like she owned the county. Bleached hair, oversized sunglasses, and heels that sank into the gravel like bad decisions. She didn't even glance at the gate she'd blocked, just marched off with a phone glued to her ear, yapping about some HOA meeting. This wasn't her first stunt. Since her fancy subdivision sprouted up 5 miles down the road, she'd been a thorn in our side, complaining about our pig smell, whining about our late-night tractor runs, even trying to get our scarecrow banned as a public nuisance. But this was war. I stood there, jaw tight, as Grandpa hobbled out from the barn, wiping grease off his hands. "Tell me I'm seeing things, Tom," he growled, squinting at the SUV's hazard lights blinking like a taunt. I shook my head. "Nope." She parked it and walked away. Grandpa's eyes narrowed. That gal's got less sense than a bent nail. He didn't wait for me to reply, just limped toward the old orange forklift parked behind the barn, half covered in ivy and memories of better days. Mom, elbow deep in soap suds, spotted him climbing into the cab. "Frank, you'll wreck your back," she hollered, waving a dish towel. He spat into an old coffee can. "Back's already wrecked. Might as well make it count." The forklift roared to life, coughing black smoke like a dragon with a grudge. Linda reappeared, clutching a smoothie cup the size of a fire hydrant, and froze as Grandpa inched forward. "What are you doing?" she screeched, planting herself in front of her precious Cadillac. "That's a luxury vehicle." Grandpa leaned out the window, calm as a Sunday morning. "Then it ought to know better than to park where it doesn't belong." Linda's face went red. "Touch my car, and I'll sue you into next week." Grandpa didn't blink. "Ma'am, I don't give a rat's tail about your lawsuits. Move it or lose it." She didn't move. So, with the grace of a man who'd stacked hay bales for decades, Grandpa slid the forks under her SUV, lifted it clean off the ground, and carried it to the ditch beside the gate. He set it down in a bed of weeds and mud, gentle as a lullaby. Linda screamed like a banshee, slipped in the muck, and flopped onto her back, arms flailing. Mom laughed so hard that the porch swing rattled. Dad pulled up in his truck, took one look, and nodded like this was just another Tuesday. The goats stopped chewing to watch. Even the squirrels seemed stunned. Linda scrambled up, mud-streaked and wild-eyed, pointing at Grandpa. "I'm calling the police. The news. The governor." Grandpa killed the engine and grinned. "Tell him about your illegal parking, sweetheart." By sundown, the story was everywhere. Our neighbor Pete had filmed the whole thing, and the video hit the internet like wildfire, racking up 60,000 views by nightfall under Forklift Frank. Folks called Grandpa a hero, a menace, even a legend. But trouble wasn't done with us. 2 hours later, Sheriff Mike rolled up, his cruiser crunching gravel. Mike and Grandpa went way back, fishing buddies from the days when they both had more hair than troubles. He stepped out, toothpick in mouth, and eyed the Cadillac in the ditch like it was modern art. "Frank," he said, "got a call about you kidnapping a car with heavy machinery." Grandpa shrugged. "She blocked my gate." Mike sighed. "She says it was just for a minute." Grandpa pointed at the mud-stained SUV. "Long minute." Mike checked the car, no scratches, no dents, and turned to Linda, who was pacing like a caged bobcat, mascara running. "Ma'am, you blocked their only road. That's a problem." Linda turned purple. "I'll sue them all." Mike raised a hand. "I'll file a report. If you press charges, we'll follow up." She stormed off, muttering about lawyers and revenge. The next morning, a letter from Linda's lawyer was taped to our mailbox, demanding $80,000 for property damage, emotional distress, and reckless vehicle handling. Grandpa read it over breakfast, chuckling. "Says I'm a danger to society. Reckon that's true." Mom sipped her coffee. "You forklift a car into a ditch. We laughed, but the reality sank in. Linda wasn't backing down. And when Pete's video hit 100,000 views, with t-shirts popping up saying Team Forklift, things went from wild to unhinged. Then came the real fight. A week after the court hearing, where Linda's case got laughed out, surveyors showed up, followed by a backhoe digging trenches along our easement. A land development permit revealed Linda had teamed up with a shady developer named Carl Swanson, who planned to build eco-luxury townhomes using our access road. Their goal? Make our farm impossible to reach, force us to sell cheap. Grandpa burned the permit in the fire barrel. Not on my dirt. Our cousin Jenny, a paralegal with a firecracker personality, dug into county records and found a pre-1950s land grant guaranteeing our agricultural right-of-way. Carl and Linda couldn't legally block us, but they got dirt, tampering with our water pump, cutting our fence, and even planting a hidden camera. Grandpa mailed it back in a box of goat droppings. We fought back with a block party protest, rallying neighbors with burgers, pies, and signs reading, "Farms before condos." The local news ate it up. The turning point came when I flew a drone over their site and caught them dumping chemical runoff into our irrigation creek. Jenny sent the footage to the state, and inspectors shut their project down. Carl called it a misunderstanding. Linda vanished. But 2 nights later, someone cut our fence again. Our cows scattered, and our goat Betsy ended up in a church lot 2 miles away. Grandpa loaded the manure spreader and coated Carl's signs in a stench that could wake the dead. The headline screamed, "Farming Family Declares Turf War." Social media crowned Grandpa the Forklift Avenger. The showdown came at dawn. Carl and Linda rolled up, smug as ever, with a crew ready to dig illegal utility lines. Jenny had 2,000 petition signatures and a live stream ready. Neighbors blocked the road with trucks and ATVs. Grandpa fired up the forklift, lifted the spreader, and unleashed a cloud of manure so foul that Carl gagged and Linda fled. The deputy arrived, handed Carl a citation, and told him to clear out. The crowd cheered as their truck peeled away. That night, we lit a bonfire, roasted hot dogs, and played Johnny Cash remixed with tractor rumbles. Grandpa leaned over, eyes glinting. Sometimes, you don't reason with snakes. You smoke 'em out. Peace returned, hard-earned and sweet. The road stayed clear, the trenches filled, and Linda's license plate hung on our reinforced Gadia trophy and a warning. Months later, a rusty sedan parked at the gate. I braced for trouble, but Grandpa tapped the window. A young woman, maybe 25, looked up, eyes tired. "I didn't mean to block you," she said. "My mom used to buy eggs here. She passed last year. This place, it's all I've got left of her." Grandpa softened. Should have knocked. He invited her in for cocoa and cornbread. She left with a smile, and we stood on the porch, watching the rain settle. "Not everything needs lifting," Grandpa said. "Sometimes folks are just lost." What do you think? Was Grandpa right to take matters into his own hands? Or did he go too far? Should folks fight injustice with force or stick to the law? Share your thoughts in the comments. Would love to hear where you stand on standing up to bullies and defending what's yours.